What if I told you that the most important life advice you'll ever hear might come from someone who's not your father, and it might sting a little? Today, I'm sharing the brutal truths that most dads never share with their kids, either because they don't know them themselves or because they're trying to protect your feelings. But here's the thing. These uncomfortable truths are exactly what you need to hear to actually succeed in life. Let me start with something that might make you uncomfortable. Your father probably told you that if you work hard and be a good person, life will reward you fairly. That's a beautiful sentiment, but it's not how the real world works. The harsh reality is that life doesn't care about your effort if that effort isn't directed intelligently. I've watched countless people work themselves to the bone in dead-end jobs, thinking that pure dedication would eventually pay off, only to watch others who worked smarter, not harder, surpass them effortlessly. Here's what your dad should have told you instead. Results matter more than effort. The world doesn't reward you for trying hard. It rewards you for creating value and solving problems. This doesn't mean effort isn't important, but effort without strategy is just expensive therapy. You need to learn to work backwards from the results you want, not forward from the effort you're willing to give. The second piece of advice that might sting is about failure. Your father probably told you that failure is okay, that you should dust yourself off and try again. While that's partially true, what he didn't tell you is that most failures aren't noble learning experiences. They're expensive mistakes that could have been avoided with better preparation and research. The successful people around you aren't succeeding because they fail better than you. They're succeeding because they fail less often. And when they do fail, they extract maximum learning from minimum damage. Instead of romanticizing failure, learn to fail small and cheap. Before you bet everything on that business idea or career change, test it in the smallest, least expensive way possible. Get proof of concept before you get proof of commitment. Your father's generation might have had the luxury of figuring things out through trial and error over decades, but in today's fast-moving world, expensive failures can set you back for years. Here's another truth that might make you squirm. Your feelings aren't always valid guides for decision-making. Your dad probably taught you to follow your heart and do what makes you happy. But your emotions are designed for survival in a world that no longer exists. Your brain is still wired for immediate threats and instant gratification, not for building long-term success in a complex modern economy. The most successful people I know have learned to separate their feelings from their decisions. They feel their emotions, acknowledge them, but then make choices based on logic, data, and long-term consequences. This doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means becoming emotionally intelligent enough to know when your feelings are helping you and when they're holding you back. Your father also probably never told you that most advice, including his, is outdated by the time you hear it. The career paths that worked for his generation might not exist for yours. The relationship dynamics that defined his marriage might not apply to your dating life. The financial strategies that built his wealth might not work in today's economic climate. This isn't your father's fault. It's just how rapidly the world changes. But it means you need to become a better student of current reality, not past success stories. You need to study what's working now, not what worked 20 years ago. This requires intellectual humility and the willingness to constantly update your beliefs based on new evidence. Let me share something that might really challenge you. Your natural talents might be leading you in the wrong direction. Your father probably told you to identify your strengths and build on them, which sounds logical, but ignores market reality. Being naturally good at something doesn't guarantee there's a market for it, and markets change faster than our abilities to adapt to them. Instead of just following your talents, follow the intersection of your talents, your interests, and market demand. You might be a naturally gifted artist, but if you can't figure out how to monetize that gift in a way that creates value for others, you'll struggle financially. This doesn't mean abandoning your talents. It means being strategic about how you develop and deploy them. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Most of your limitations are self-imposed, but acknowledging this might be the hardest thing you ever do. Your father probably tried to build your self-esteem by telling you that you're special and capable of anything. But he didn't teach you that your biggest enemy isn't external circumstances. It's your own mental conditioning. You've been programmed by your environment, your education, and yes, even your family, to think in certain ways about what's possible for you. These mental programs run automatically in the background, limiting your choices before you're even conscious of making them. Breaking free from this conditioning requires brutal self-awareness and the courage to question beliefs you've never thought to question. Your father might not have told you that relationships, both personal and professional, are skills that can be learned and improved. He probably modeled one way of relating to people and assumed you'd figure out the rest. But relationship skills, communication, emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, networking, these are learnable competencies that will determine your success more than almost any technical skill. The most successful people aren't necessarily the smartest or most talented. They're the ones who've mastered the art of building and maintaining relationships. They understand that every interaction is an opportunity to create value for others, and they've learned to see past their own needs to understand what others truly want and need. Here's something that might really sting. Your comfort zone isn't protecting you. It's imprisoning you. Your father probably created a safe, predictable environment for you growing up, which was appropriate then, but becomes limiting now. The skills and mindset required for safety are often the opposite of those required for growth and achievement. Every day you choose comfort over growth, you're not staying the same. You're falling behind. The world is moving faster than ever, and standing still is actually moving backwards. This doesn't mean recklessly pursuing every opportunity, but it does mean systematically expanding your capabilities and your tolerance for uncertainty. The final piece of advice your father never gave you is this: you are entirely responsible for your results, but you're not entirely responsible for your circumstances. This distinction is crucial because it determines whether you spend your energy on what you can control or waste it on what you can't. You can't control the economy, other people's decisions, or unexpected events, but you can control your responses, your preparation, and your adaptability. Taking full responsibility for your results while acknowledging the role of circumstances prevents both victimhood and grandiosity. These truths aren't meant to discourage you or diminish your father's love and guidance. They're meant to prepare you for a reality that's more complex and demanding than previous generations experienced. Your father gave you the best advice he could with the knowledge and experience he had. But now it's your responsibility to update that advice for the world you actually live in. The most successful people aren't those who received perfect guidance from their parents. They're those who learned to question, adapt, and think for themselves while still honoring the wisdom that came before them. Take what serves you, update what's outdated, and have the courage to walk your own path.